The Communist Party of China, the CPC, the party, celebrates its 95th anniversary on July 1st, 2016. But it still mystifies foreigners that the CPC continues to be China's ruling party for almost 7 decades, and that the CPC has brought about China's dramatic development, lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty and rejuvenating the nation as a global power. A partial solution to this mystery is the quality of party personnel. How does the party select, train, monitor, assess, and promote officials? There's also the dark side. How does the party fight corruption, extravagance, and abuses of power? The answers: opening up the party's inner sanctum of personnel management, bring us closer to China. What are the primary characteristics of China's system for appointing party cadres or government officials?
The current selection and promotion system for Chinese cadres has 4 features. First of all, the party should put all the cadres under its leadership. We're not saying, of course, that we, as the ruling party, should concern itself with everything the cadres are doing. We just pay attention to 4 aspects. Number 1 is the direction the party decides. All the work the cadres do should guarantee we're on the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Number 2, all the cadres should carry out the party's policies, because policy and tactics are the lifeline of the party. All the fundamental policies are made by the Central Committee of the Chinese Communist Party. No any other party organizations at all other lower levels should formulate any other policies contradictory to the Central Committees. Number 3 is the party system. We have strict system of cadres appointment, shift of position, recall, and etc. Different levels of the party organizations may work out their work system according to their different situation. Other administrative departments at the same level must not develop their own cadres system willfully. Number 4 is the management of important cadres, especially those who play a crucial role in administration and governance of the country. We put our cadres from the central down to provinces, cities, and counties under the management in accordance to their levels and sectors. The second feature for the selection and promotion system is that virtue and talent are both counted as important parameters for assessment, with virtue coming first. This is the ultimate standard for our selection and appointment of cadres. General Secretary Xi Jinping has made it more concrete, that is, firm in faith, ready to serve the people, diligent and practical, brave in shouldering responsibilities, clean and honest. The third feature is democracy, transparency, and public recognition and approval. People's satisfaction is a major indicator of whether the cadre selection and promotion uphold transparency, justice, and fairness. For example, we take democratic recommendation as a must for selecting and appointing cadres, and make announcement in advance the cadres assessment survey and appointment as an important measure, so that the whole process is undertaken in transparency. The fourth feature is working according to the laws under supervision. Now at the national level, we have the Civil Servant Law of the People's Republic of China. Within the party, we have a series of regulations for selecting and appointing party and government leaders. In the meantime, party organization departments at central and lower levels all have websites and hotline for the masses to report. We want to make our cadre selection and appointment more scientific, democratic, and legalized.
How has the process of cadre and official selection and appointment changed over time? What were some of the deficits or problems in the past, and how have they been improved?
Looking back at the evolution of our selection and appointment mechanism, I'd like to say we have kept 3 elements unchanged and 3 modified. As for the unchanged, we have maintained the principle of the party supervising the cadres, stuck to our emphasis on both virtue and talent, with virtue being the top priority, and adhere to appointments based on democratic centralism. Then there are 3 changes. First, we have diversified ways of selection. For a long time in the past, almost everyone was a directly appointed cadre. Recently, we have combined multiple ways of appointment by commission, election, examination, and appointment by engagement to develop a diversified system. So that can bring the best out of each method. This new practice places us in a better position for cadre selection and appointment.
第二个变了呢，是干部选拔任用工作的参与范围。
Second, we have expanded the scope of involvement in cadre selection and appointment. In the past, we had a narrow scope of selection of cadres, only among a limited minority for us to select, which had led to some dissatisfaction of the people. Now, with 30 years of reform and opening up, people have now been enjoying a greater right of participation, involvement, voting, and supervision. Openness, justice, fairness. All these key concepts have become tangible features in our routine work of selecting and appointing cadres. So even though the current selection practice is more time-consuming and costly for our organization departments, public satisfaction with our work has increased together with the quality of personnel. Third, the past selection and appointment process was not highly systemic or legalized, but now things have changed. We officially put the Civil Servant Law of the People's Republic of China in practice in 2006 and relied on a series of work regulations concerning party and government cadre selection to ensure that we have laws to abide by. We have thus strengthened scientific guidance, democratic practice, and legal compliance. These are the 3 major changes.
能够依法办事，提高了它的科学化、民主化、法治化的水平。主要是这3个变化。
Process by which China selects, trains, and appoints its officials in the government and in the party, and what are the special characteristics of China's system?
中国共产党的干部选拔任用工作
With many years of practice and exploration, particularly after our reform and opening up, we have developed a cadre selection mechanism that has a diversified structure and different elements complementing each other.
机构为主体，
There are 4 parts in
优
total.
势互补的干部选拔任用的工作机制。
The first is a democratic election system that is the same as international practices.
第一个呢，是干部
We follow relevant regulations and charters to elect the leading cadres through democratic
世界各
election.
国的通行做法一样，就是根据
The party committee members, the leaderships of our people's congresses, governments and political consultative conferences at all levels, as well as leading figures in charge of various government departments, are all elected through democratic mechanism.
领导班子成员，我们政府的组成部门的主要负责人。
Positions through democratic election all come with a term, usually of 5 years. This is the first form.
第二块呢是委任，
The second is appointment by commission, which, however, is not really the traditional practice of appointment from above.
由上而下的任命，不完全一样。它现在已经形成
We combine appointment from above with recommendation and assessment from below, We now rely mainly on the second option to select our party and government officials. To do this, motions, democratic recommendations, on-site investigations, and collective discussions are needed for the final decision. The third is examination selection. Selecting cadres in China used to refer to the examination for candidates to become civil servants so as to work at various party and government departments. We currently have a saying, that is, anyone who wants to enter the civil servant troops must take part in examination. In recent years, we have expanded this selection scope with open selection and competition for posts. According to a position's requirements, we combine the organization's recommendation with public recommendation, as well as examination with investigation, to select cadres through competition. This has become one of the basic mechanisms for our cadre selection. The last form is appointment by engagement, which is designed for certain leading positions that have a requirement for technical expertise or other special qualities. We recruit them with contracts for a general term of 5 years. Extension of employment for more terms is also allowed. Therefore, the current cadre selection system in China is centered on a democratic election and appointment by commission, with examination and engagement or recruitment as their complements. These four aspects have formed the basic framework of our system with Chinese characteristics.
What is the process by which the CPC selects leaders and assesses their capacity for promotion, and in particular from your expertise at the party school for training leaders and future leaders?
The CPC has unique qualities that empower the party to accomplish goals that others cannot. I believe there are very many reasons. But the quality of our party cadres is a very important one for the party's fighting capability. Of course, every party member needs time to improve his quality. The same is true for party leaders. They also need to keep studying and improving their capability. Therefore, in my view, a greater advantage of the CPC to other parties is that it attaches more importance to studying and training. For instance, our party schools are set up everywhere, from the Central Party Committee down to county party organizations. Even some big enterprises and universities have their own party schools. These party schools' main task is training party cadres. The training courses include the party's theories, guiding principles and policies, as well as up-to-date knowledge of the economy, law, science, technology, and international knowledge. I should say the courses taught at party schools at all levels are rich in content that the cadres need in their daily work. Every cadre has to study in the party school for at least 3 months per 5 years. This is a strict rule to be followed. If not, one may lose the opportunity to be promoted. As a matter of fact, many cadres are willing to learn because they're aware of the benefits of learning, not only for their career development, but also for their promotion. I think this system of education is crucial in ensuring that our cadres at leading posts can correctly understand decisions and guidelines from the top and get multiple knowledge they need to perform well at their posts. But of course, apart from learning at party schools, other forms of studying also takes place at work. For example, we have a monthly studying event in the Politburo of the CPC Central Committee, and local party committees also have followed the example very well. I believe such measures for learning are necessary for leading cadres.
地方党委这样的学习也坚持得很好。我认为这样的学习对任何一位党员领导干部其实都是非常必要的。
The Party School of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China in Beijing, also known as the Central Party School, is the higher education institution which specifically trains cadres for the Communist Party of China. It was established as the CPC Central Committee's Marx School of Communism in Ruijin, Jiangxi in 1933. Many CPC's top leaders had been the president of the party school, which include Chairman Mao Zedong as the first president and now CPC's party secretary Xi Jinping's presidential time from 2007 to 2013. The Central Party School focuses on the study of the system of theories of socialism with Chinese characteristics and aims to improve the theoretical quality of students. There are more than 1,100 staff members working at the Central Party School now, and there are around 1,600 students at school for each semester. Cadres at the ministerial or provincial and prefectural levels, as well as secretaries of county or county-level city party committees, young and middle-aged reserve cadres, and cadres of ethnic minority groups are being trained at the school. Graduate students for doctor's or master's degrees in the disciplines of Marxist theory and teachers from nationwide party schools also study at the school as well.
If I were a party cadre and somebody hoped I'd be promoted and I'm in my mid-career and I come to the party school and you're one of my professors, what would be my life for the 3 months or so that I would be at the party school?
我们的党校的学习分两类。
There are two types of party schools. One is training party cadres for promotion. The courses are mainly designed for mid-level and young cadres. It may be a bit time-consuming. It could be as long as 1 year or as short as half a year. The other type is for party cadres to take turns to train for different subjects, which is not directly related to promotion. This learning process may be shorter, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 3. But however long, the courses are essentially the same. For example, the party's theories, Marxism, Mao Zedong thought, socialist theory with Chinese characteristics. These are compulsory for every party cadre. Then they have to learn the party's major guiding principles and policies, such as the Central Committee's decisions on reform, the legal system, and the 5 major development concepts raised by Party General Secretary Xi Jinping. These are all up-to-date important components of learning at party schools and every party cadre is obliged to learn. There are also courses on the nature of the party. For example, the party building up, which includes the party organization building, the party's working style, what to develop, and how to develop. The party's history is also taught to today's cadres. The wisdom of Chairman Mao and his comrades is worth learning. The generation of Mao Zedong and his comrades has made huge contributions to the world. The disciplines and rules they set up are very useful in teaching cadres today. Apart from those courses, they can also pick up knowledge needed for modernization, like knowledge of technology, the economy, and professional expertise on the internet at party schools. These knowledge, I believe, are very useful in politics as they can make party cadres aware of the party's requirements and how they can acquire these knowledge to meet those requirements. If a party cadre is to take office as a party secretary or a mayor, the courses at the party school can help him grasp new things needed for the position. Therefore, such learning should be very helpful. We have a rule that one has to get trained for at least 4.5 months at a central party school in order to be promoted to provincial or ministerial levels. Otherwise, he stands no chance. Of course, such courses are not open to everybody. One has to have the qualifications for promotion and get approval from the organization department of the CPC Central Committee before he can take the courses.
当然，这样的学习也不是谁想去就可以去的，那一定具备了提拔晋升的其他条件之后，经过中央组织部允许，才可能进行这样的学习的。
How does the CPC work on the supervision of party members, party cadres or officials, and also government officials?
中国共产党对党员干部的监督工作，实际上，分成两大块。一块呢，
The CPC's supervision over party cadres has two parts. The first is the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Department that is responsible for discipline supervision and discipline
组织人事部
investigation.
门的干部监督工作呢，
The other is the Organization and Personnel Department that is responsible for cadre supervision,
构成
which is operated under a structure of well-linked working systems.
分别做一点。
Please allow me to make some introductions.
第一个是
The first system is about leading groups meeting. We call it democratic live meeting.
就是
There are two kinds of leading groups democratic live meetings. One is regularly held at the beginning or at the end of the year annually. The other is held when some special problems come out for settlement. The main purpose of the democratic live meeting is for the leading group to find problems in their
我
work.
们叫专题
When the meeting is held, the masses are invited to raise problems. Each member of the leading group look for problems in his work. The higher authority points out their existing problems, and leading group members help each other to find
采
problems.
取拿我们
The
现在的
next
话
step
说
is to carry out criticism and self-criticism among leading group members. This is not only our party's time-honored tradition,
开展
but also an important method to strengthen
这
supervision
种形式
within the
呢
party,
既是中国共产党
especially
的一个
mutual
方式
supervision
也
between
是
leading
我们在
cadres.
目前的情况下
When the leading group's democratic live meeting is
特别是
held,
加强
both the
领导班子
Discipline
内部
Inspection Department
领
and
导
the
干部之间
Organization
的
and
相互
Personnel
之间
Department
一个重要
should
的
send their representatives to
民主社会
participate.
上级的纪检机关和组织人事部门，要派人参加。
The second system is for leading cadres to report on clean and honest
领导干
governance.
部的
That
授
means when a
职
leading
授
cadre
权
submits his
授
annual
责
report on his own assessment of
也
his
就是
work in the
每
year,
年
he should
结合
also report on
年
how
度的
he
总结
adhered
考核
to the party's
领
requirement
导干部要
to a
采取
clean and
对
honest governance and to good morality.
一年来的
All this should be subjected to the appraisal of the masses.
党风廉政情况、思想道德情况，要在大会上做个人陈述。
The third system is that of leading cadres' economic responsibility
参
audit.
加会议的干部群众的
In the past, when a leading cadre leaves his post,
党政领导
relevant organization departments will cooperate with auditing authorities to audit his economic
领导
responsibilities.
干部离任了，
Now we audit not only those who are leaving, but also those in office on a regular basis. Every 3 years, we do one audit, and every audit lasts 3 years.
对在任
This
的
is
干
the
部
method through which we enhance the supervision of economical responsibilities of leading cadres.
3年审一次，一次审3年，通过这样的方式来加强对
The fourth is the system of reminding, inquiring through mailing, and persuading and admonishing cadres.
领导干部的
This is a system of warning and supervision targeted at leading cadres who have committed
这是对
mistakes,
一些
but not to the
本身
extent
有
of
些
breaking laws and regulations.
但是还没有到违法违纪严重程度的领导干部，进行警示性监督的一种方式。第五个呢，
The fifth is the system of accountability, which can be found in
这个
China
呢跟
and
西
Western
方
countries
我
alike.
们也有
If leading cadres make a wrong decision
对领
and
导干
cause
部
huge
因为决策
losses
错
or
误
create negative
造成
influences,
重大损失
we demand that they
或
make a
者
public apology
恶劣影
or
响
even remove them from their
要
post,
根据不同情况
depending on the
对
severity of the
公
situation.
开道歉，则知免责的组织处理。另外，近几年来呢
In addition,
我们
we
的
have been practicing inspection
巡
tour
视
within the party in recent
作为
years,
监督的一个
which,
重要
as an
形式
important way of supervision, have been proven to be effective.
也取得了很好的效果。
In addition to the anti-corruption campaign that looks for law breaking and criminal activity, the party has instituted programs and procedures regarding work style and personal behavior that's short of a crime. The 8 regulations that came out early after the 18th Party Congress in recent years, the 3 stricts, as it's called, and 3 honests. How have these programs improved the behavior of party members?
这几年，我们在加强党风廉政建设和反腐败斗争中，给我们全体党员
In recent years, our efforts at strengthening party's working style and fighting corruption have impressed all party members. And the most impressed is the 8 provisions put forward by the CPC Central Committee. I summarize 3 characteristics of the provisions. First, superiors setting themselves as role models for subordinates. This was demanded by the CPC Central Committee. Politburo members take the lead and report their implementation of the regulations within the party annually. They have set a good example for the whole party. The second characteristic is paying attention to small things. What the 8 provisions forbids are things overlooked in the past, such as treats and gifts and extravagant banquets. Some may not seem very costly or may come in quantities not large enough to break the rules. But it is these very phenomena that can be breeding grounds for violations of law and regulations. We start to deal with these seemingly ordinary and small things to foster a clean and just environment in the party and promote a sound atmosphere nationwide. The third characteristic is to focus our attention first on the problems listed in the 8 provisions. We know that the 8 provisions has its limits. It cannot cover all the problems that hinder the establishment of the party's working style and fighting corruption. But we can start from education and practice campaigns and fight the 4 undesirable working styles of formalism, bureaucracy, hedonism, and extravagance to curb the emergency of more serious problems. Some problems listed in the 8 provisions are not really new and have been dealt with in the past. But in the past, we did not focus on these problems and keep on fighting to root them out. But this time, we're determined to resolve these problems. Now, the implementation of the 8 provisions has generated fruitful results since its promulgation. Positive comments prevail both within and outside the party. This is by no means a strike of luck, but rather a natural result of a correct prescription.
China has a long history of recruiting its best and brightest into public service, a sophisticated process that the CPC has adapted for contemporary times. Not well known in the West, the CPC's organization department is responsible for selecting, training, monitoring, assessing, and promoting party and government officials, and when necessary, for demoting or firing them. The process is rigorous, quantitative, and continuous, with increasing transparency and broad-based participation. Training is intense and career-long. Rules of work style and personal behavior are firmer. An 8-point regulation rejects extravagance and reduces bureaucratic visits, meetings, and empty talk. A training campaign stresses strictness in morals, power, and self-discipline, and honesty in decisions, business, and behavior. For over 27 years, I've been meeting Chinese officials at all levels, including a just completed 12-day study visit to Zhejiang and Qinghai provinces, and, in general, Chinese officials are some of the most competent administrators anywhere. That's closer to China.